Hey, what's up guys, DiplexHeated again, welcome back to Star Wars Galaxy at War and welcome back to the Battle of Hoth. We're playing the latest version of the mod that comes with a lot of new units. This map is also one of the new features that come with this mod. It's currently not available for download, this is a dev version, but everything that you're about to see on this map and in this battle will soon be available as well. So I'm super excited to try this map out. It's made by Sam. He's one of the mappers and he's very talented, and this is going to be very cool. As you can tell, it's not the classical Hoth map. This is not like the movie version, so to speak. This is a different take on the map and the battle itself, but I am excited. As you can tell, we have two flanks today that will be present in the fight. We have the northern flank here, which will be attacked by an AT-AT, which is currently underway. And right before this hell kicks off, so to speak, we're going to take a look at the southern flank up here on the high ground. Quite a bit of distance in between. We've got 150 or so Blizzard Force Snowtroopers supported by two AT-STs on this side and plenty of turrets as well. They're just getting ready for the attack on the rebel positions on this side. So we're going to try and keep an eye on both flanks. It's going to be a little difficult. It's going to be an all-out AI battle. I'm not going to be doing any commanding or controlling. It's going to be quite insane. So let's start it, I guess. This is going to be bloody cool, and I love that there's like a snowstorm going on at the same time, because it just makes it so windy that all the explosions and smoke is just blown away and carried away by the wind. And this darkness and this sky really accentuates the blaster fire and makes it much more visible. Wow, this is really cool. An all-out Star Wars battle, just like they're meant to be. Absolutely crazy here, as some of the rebel forces have moved out of the trenches and are battling the Snowtroopers, are currently being a little bit pushed back, so to speak. But this walker is just moving in, and it's carrying itself proudly on the battlefield. Look at that. It is not stressed at all. There's nothing, it seems, that the rebels can do about it as it moves up against the positions and just shelling them at long range. Very cool stuff. Let's look at this flank. How is it looking over here? Well, one of the AT-STs have already been knocked out, and that is quite devastating for the attacking Stormtroopers here, who need all of that walker support that they can get. They're currently under a lot of fire, just covering here behind the turrets and the stones. They have been besieging the rebels for days now, and they want to get closer and take out the base, but so far they've been, unfortunately, not able to break through the defenses, and this is one of those attempts that might be very similar to the previous ones. Lots of Stormtroopers dead around here, but they have some supporting turret fire. I wonder what has happened to this walker. It seems to have been sort of disabled. Very unfortunate indeed. And that looks like the third and final turret supporting the Snowtroopers on this side have been knocked out. It's going to be down to the remaining Stormtroopers, and let me tell you, they outnumbered the rebels quite severely at the start of this battle, but the entrenched rebel positions just seem to be prevailing right now. Quite a few casualties scattering the trenches down here, though. Right now they're being manned again, and they're filling the gaps, getting a bit of a breather here in between the attacks. How's it looking down here? The northern flank, currently still very much under attack from the attacking Snowtroopers. This AT-AT is just moving up, trying to deliver some death here on the rebel positions. I think it's targeting one of the turrets here to try and really knock it out. It's currently scanning for more targets. It's hard to see all the rebels hidden in the trench itself, but they're quite nicely dug in. More Snowtroopers back here covering behind the rocks, using the snow and range as some sort of advantage. They will be slowly moving up again. They definitely do have a lot of numbers on their side, and all they need is some of that sweet AT-AT support, and they'll be able to conquer this position in no time. Rebels are getting back into the trenches, though. They were pushed back at a start. Some may say they even counterattacked the Imperial assault, but now they're being pushed back again, and that AT-AT seems to be disabling a lot of the positions here, mainly the turrets, who are opening up so much fire on the attacking Stormtroopers. Very nice indeed. How is it looking up here? Bit of a stalemate. We've got a lot of Stormtroopers that seem to be interested in providing covering fire for the northern attack here. They're going to be moving up to the side here, and I think they'll be in range of the rebels down below. So that might be very nice for the attackers down here. Obviously, their goal is to attack the rebel trenches, but by failing to do so, they won't be getting that victory that they're looking for. Rebels are being sent out to skirmish with the remaining stormtroopers here in the rocky high ground terrain. There's a lot alive, but they're kind of just pushed back right now. They're kind of hard to see because they kind of blend in with the rocks. This is not really a great battleground for walkers, as you can tell there. It's too many rocks and too much of a terrain difference. So that all-terrain capacity isn't really kicking in all too heavily here. So we'll see what this comes to. Mind you that the numbers on the side heavily favor the attacking stormtroopers. It's going to come down to precision, accuracy, and courage. And we see some rebel troopers here in the bunker who have lost many comrades, currently just doing everything they can to battle the attacking stormtroopers down below. And they're getting some rebel reinforcements crawling up from the base back here. Some of them are actually being sent up from this flank where they have beaten back the stormtroopers so heavily that they can afford to send men down this way. That is very cool. But the snowtroopers are inching ever closer with the support of this AT, and I think as a stationary piece, it's time to move it up just so slightly to forward the attack against the rebel positions. I love this beast. Oh, and it's just opening up now at the rebel positions, knocking out the turrets, knocking out the positions. And I love the way the smoke and explosions are just carried away by the heavy blizzard wind in today's battle. How's it looking here? These positions are still holding. Stormtroopers are covering back here, and the rebels are skirmishing now out of their trenches with the somewhat pushed back snowtrooper assets covering behind the rocks up here. Very intense firefight. Very uncertain of who's going to carry this fight and who's going to carry this victory away. Might just be an inconclusive battle. You never know. Something that I get a lot of comments about is having fair battles. It's not about fair. War is never fair. A board game should be fair, of course, but not a fight like this. It's about making them exciting and uncertain. That is the utmost priority, always. And so far, this battle is very uncertain, I must tell you. Some quick information that might be interesting to know is that at the start, the stormtroopers deployed on this flank outnumbered the rebels 2-1. But precision and firepower is key. It's not always numbers. But the rebels have taken a lot of casualties back here, but their core defenses are still holding. But the snowtroopers are still alive and kicking, and they're going to be battling the skirmishing rebels here on the high ground. Very cool indeed. Some rebels have moved up on this side. They want to kind of battle the Blizzard Force snowtroopers on this side. There's so many words for the Imperial forces deployed today. Snowtroopers, stormtroopers, Blizzard Force, you name it. All too many. I kind of alternate in between what I say, but everything is correct, mind you. So, with some AT support, the snowtroopers down here are starting to secure the trenches. This northern assault might be successful. Some rebels back here, currently also engaging the attacking snowtroopers, but the trenches have been pretty much cleared out, and I think it's safe for these very cautious snowtroopers to move up now under the cover of this massive AT. And I think I'm going to go ahead and carry this beast to the south, just also slightly. The reason why it's on hold position and the reason why I have to control this is because of the terrain. It's simply too inappropriate for a vehicle of this stature to do that itself. The AI would instantly mess up its chance to even secure a victory today, and I don't want to give anyone a lesser chance at all, so I'm going to be in control and make sure that this big bad boy gets put to good use. Currently it's doing a bit of a moonwalk here on the stones, which isn't all too good. We'll see if we can rearrange that so slightly. No, okay, well then turn around. This terrain is very inappropriate for a vehicle of this size. But we all already knew that. There we go. Perfect. And we can now move it further to the south here to start attacking some of the rebel positions down here, which are still very much intact. Look at that. Well, intact might be the wrong word, but there's plenty of rebel forces hiding around here that will be engaging the snowtroopers attacking. And this bunker is still standing. That is so cool. It's like a D-Day. lot of rebel forces have been pushed back this way, but if they get closer to if the stormtroopers get closer to these guys, then the positions back here, the heavily entrenched, fortified positions of this bunker base is going to be attacking the attacking snowtroopers. So I think the priority is to knock out the troops outside the base first before they commence attacking any of those. And well, it's looking very grim over here. The skirmishing rebels have moved up to take the fight to the snowtroopers, to push them back and to lift the siege. If they can lift the siege on these trenches and knock out the stormtroopers from their landing base, which is back here, which is already taking fire as a matter of fact, then the stormtroopers will be unable to land forces closer to the trenches, which will be very, very devastating indeed. The battle is continuing into the night. This has been going on for hours now, and the northern flank was actually successfully secured by the snowtroopers supported by the AT-AT. Those rebel forces have retreated into the base. Some have been sent out to aid this southern flank that is quite far away from the main base. If the snowtroopers manage to knock out this final defensive line here, then they will have no problem entering the base, where gruesome close-quarter combat will presume. But if the rebels can hold their position over here and potentially even knock back and push back the attacking snowtroopers from their from their initial assaulting position, which would be this ridge line here, they can essentially eliminate even the landing platform back here where some additional snowtroopers have been landed. That is really cool. So most of these snowtroopers come actually from the northern flank. They've secured the trenches and they've sort of established their defense over there. They're quite dug in, so the rebels will not be counterattacking down there. But they've been relocated to aid the currently heavily suppressed snowtroopers on this side. The rebels sent out a counterattack earlier during the evening, and they almost pushed the snowtroopers so far back that they lost their landing pad. But some reinforcements were allocated to this location, and they managed to push the rebels back into their trench. And since that event, there's been this gruesome firefight and exchange of fire between the two sides that's been going on for hours right now, with little to no standstill in the firing. This is absolutely insane. Very cool to say the least, with all the blaster fire in the dark. More snowtroopers are arriving to the front here, but this is about the last amount that they can spare to this southern flank. If they cannot take this, and if the rebels are as brutal as they might be in order to, and if they choose to like counterattack and push back the snowtroopers to the landing pad here, then they will lose their grip on this flank, and they will not be able to stage another major assault until they can retake the landing pad, which is going to be harder, admittedly. This is, despite all that, still extremely cool to witness. Wow, absolutely stunning. And the rebel trenches are taking a lot of fire. They were previously reinforced, and during the battle between the two fighting parties here at the start. Look at that. Love that sound. Oh. It stopped snowing though, which helps a bit with the vision, but the darkness obviously has its impact as well. And it looks as if the snowtroopers are being pushed back just a little bit. Many are running around with ammunitions and whatnot. This is the bloody front line that they're trying to hold down right now. And if they allow the rebel forces to push any further and to get out of their trenches to skirmish with the troops like they did earlier today, then they might lose their positions. So yes, these positions were indeed reinforced by some troops that were relocated from the northern flank here to the south. And since some have been landed back here on this landing pad, as you previously saw, just arriving to the battle itself, but right now they're unloading ammunition and stuff back there, and supplies that will be needed to continue this siege. It is very cool. It does give a feeling of a greater purpose when you involve sieging assets and logistics and stuff like that. It's very cool, even to Star Wars, which is very sci-fi and you know, and historical. It comes very cool when you add like historical assets and strategies when it comes to besieging and whatnot, and logistics and stuff that probably wasn't ever talked about so much during Star Wars, like the how to, you know, make sure you can upkeep a war and whatnot. But look at these positions, just relentless fire, and they're even sending some rebels out. Some are actually daring to get out of the trench and crawl closer to the Snowtrooper positions, despite the fact that they're so heavily pushed back. I think everyone has grown very tired so far of this battle, or not the battle itself, but the combatants that have been fighting throughout all day. And the Snowtroopers, despite being reinforced, aren't able to push the trench and knock the rebels out of their positions. As a matter of fact, the majority of the reinforcements were allocated for a defensive purpose. And look at that, a little bit of a peaceful moment here. The first one in hours. As it seems as if most of the Imperial defenders have been killed. There are many crawling around with their guns ready. And there's plenty back here by the stones and whatnot, getting into some defensive positions. I'm sure there's a whole platoon or so moving around. Some are moving back right now to get ammunitions. Reposition themselves in the trenches. But, oh, they did not expect this. They thought it was over, but the rebels are sending out a skirmishing party. Jeez, look at that. Oh, this is going to be so cool. They're going to catch the stormtroopers off guard, and they're forced to rush back into their old positions. If they get pushed back from this trench line, they're going to lose the landing pad, and that's going to make a lot of Imperial generals very unhappy. The success on the northern flank was mainly due to the fact of the AT-AT support and the open areas that they could mass their numbers in, but this here is just like a tight killing corridor, and it's not good at all for the stormtroopers. The rebels have the superior positions back here with the entrenchments and the guns, and the stormtroopers, all they have is this rocky terrain and intraversable terrain that they can't really send any armor in because it gets quickly shut down. I think the rebels are going to try and send up another skirmishing party. Look at that, they're going to get closer. Now they're up by the stormtrooper lines, and this is like something out of a Pacific battle where the Japanese would attack in the night and try and knock out a garrison or something, or like a encampment that the US would have dug in and set up during an invasion. You know, when they invaded an island and sent a lot of troops ashore, and you set up camp, and you had sentries and foxholes, and what you would do is try and attack during the night to flush out the defenders. That is what they seem to be doing right now. In a bit of a banzai charge against the stormtrooper positions. Supported by troops from back there, the rebels are moving up in small numbers, but with so much firepower. I do feel bad for the stormtroopers. They seem to not be able to aim all too well at all, and they're shot back. I think they're going to lose their front line and essentially have to retreat back to the landing pad. Very cool indeed. Guys, I think we're going to conclude the battle here. The rebels have done great counterattacking. They've knocked out so many stormtrooper attackers here who turned into defenders halfway in through the battle. We're going to have to witness this continuation of this battle another day. And behind this corridor, or behind this darkness down here, with the night covering the area, so to speak, we have the rebel base that still needs to be assaulted, but in order for that to happen, we need to take out these trenches first. So perhaps in the next day we can land more stormtrooper reinforcements, or perhaps attack with more vehicles of some sort. There's still going to be some fighting here among the trenches, but I don't think the rebels are going to try and attack any further, and there are still a lot more stormtroopers back here defending, so that would be a bit of a suicide mission, to say the least. But look at that. They need to attack and destroy the positions and take out the shield generator back there before they can continue the attack on the base down here. And this is all quiet. There are stormtroopers back there that have secured the trenches. The rebels have evacuated and pulled back into the base. So the troops on this side are completely cut off from rebel reinforcements. It should be an easy task for the stormtroopers to knock them out, but you never know. The rebel courage is strong here. I'm going to make this battle an inconclusive one, a rebel victory up here, and a imperial victory down there. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys soon again. Bye.